can't get this carburettor off because it hits the airbox, and to get the airbox out you've got to take the carburettor off, so it's going to stay on there. I'll take it apart. It's very simple. I'll just take the float bowl off, just to have a look, just make sure it's not bunged up or anything. This has got to come off anyway to put in, to make a new throttle cable. Take this off. So we've got a very crude choke mechanism. It's just a plate with a like a homemade stop with these rubber washers. It's quite clever, but it works, it does the job. So down will be choke on, and put it up, choke off. The slide is, wow, that's really, oh God. The slide is absolutely worn out. Deal with that. It doesn't help the running of it at all, because if the slide's worn out. I'll take this float bowl off and have a look. It'll probably pour petrol everywhere. If there's any petrol in it, it will pour out now. Yuck. Yeah, float looks okay. Oh, what's happened here? Well, the main jet is absolutely blocked solid, so it was never going to run like that. Doesn't appear to have a pilot jet. It's just got an air screw. It's about the most crude carburettor you could wish for, really. It could do with a new one, it really could. I'll clear that jet. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can get a better picture of the focus. Macro. It's a right mess, isn't it? Okay, so I've got my jet cleaning tools here. Let's try that. Try that one. No, that's just a tad too big. So the next one down is that one. All right, that's the one. Yep, so we've got that pretty clean now. I don't think I'm going to have another jet like that. It's possible, I suppose, but even though it's a bit mangled, it will do the job okay. And it's quite a big jet for a 50cc. It looks like about a 120, which it will be for a two-stroke. You know, the two-strokes always have bigger jets than four-strokes. That would be equivalent to like a 125 four-stroke. But the two-stroke, pre-mixed two-strokes with the oil is quite dense, so you need a big jet. All right, we'll get that back in and go from there. All right, let's get this carburettor back together again. It's the main jet in. I can see through it now, which is a good sign, isn't it? Put this, the little float valve is a strange design I've not seen before. It's got a little pin up inside there. It's usually got a little Viton tip which would seal, but that must be some sort of ball valve up in there that won't come out. I don't know. Oh, I suppose you could take that to pieces, but I suppose that'll be all right. Let's just get this back in. Like so. Lovely little brass float, which all looks all right. I can't hear any fuel in it. So it'll hopefully be able to float like it should. Because they do sometimes puncture, or they just corrode and they fill up with petrol, and of course it's just going to sink straight to the bottom and flood the carburettor. That's reasonably clean. It's not spotless, but it's not like a delicate Honda carburettor where everything has to be absolutely perfect because of the tiny little drillings and things you have on a little Honda. This has basically got nothing except that big jet. That's the only thing to block up. That was a 14mm at one time. It's just like a circle now. It's been off so many times. I wonder how many hundreds of times that's been off in its life. Probably run on the cheapest fuel that you could get, you know, any old crap. Just chuck it in there. But that's the beauty of these things, you know, anyone can mend them and get it going. And that's why they're so good for what they're intended, you know, for the old communist countries where this was bombing about in the 70s and 80s. People had in Bulgaria, there would have been a poor person's machine, so they couldn't afford to pay anyone to fix it. So now we need to look at the cable. That slide is badly worn. It really is. So air will go around the slide, and it might, well, it will weaken the mixture and possibly make it not tick over nicely. But where are we going to get another carburettor like that? We're not, are we? Okay, this cable is, the cable's buggered. So I'm going to have a look through my stock of cables, see if I can find something roughly equivalent to that. I'm sure I've got something. It wasn't a wood screw. It's a it's a nail. So you can see it's hasn't quite broken off, but it's about to break off, that piece. So this is a typical farmer bodge, which is, I love to see this, because you could use these ideas for roadside repairs. But they've put this nail in there. Just to strengthen it. Put tape around it. Yeah, brilliant. Well, what I'll do, I'll bang that straight and then run a weld inside there. That'll do that job nicely. Get that old bit of front brake cable out of there. that. Should be good. Oh, it broke off. Right, I found a cable. It's a Lambretta throttle cable or clutch cable. It's way too long, so I've cut that much off. I've had to cut the cable, so I've got the throttle end of the cable intact. I've got to make a nipple to go on that end. So I'm going to utilise some of the old components from the old cable, namely these parts. I'm just going to cut that down to give me a bit of adjustment. Okay, so we've got that adjuster, that little piece. So now we've got an adjuster that will fit in the twist grip, and the cable will sit in there nicely. So we need to thread this end through there like so. Then the cable, which is a nice Teflon lined cable, so it'll be nice and smooth. Better than anything the Russians could get hold of anyway. It'll be lovely. There we go. Just need to calculate the length. I'll put that on run the wrong way, so that's goes the other way. Okay. Like so. There, that fits in there nicely, look. So that'll go in there. Let's put that. I've had to file this a little bit and clean up that hole. So that'll be like that. And fit in there. Job's a good one. Need to know the length of that now. Let's get the throttle slide. I've got the slide, the worn out slide. That will go through this adjuster. Through the spring. You can press the spring and go into there, so it needs to be I would say about there. Somewhere around there. Let's go for that. So I'm just going to use multi-core fluxed solder, instant heat soldering gun, and just put some blobs on there. There we go. And there we have it. Just need to file that down a bit so that it fits. Basically, it's got to fit through. Just got to fit through there, really. So I'm going to use the bench grinder to just spin that round, literally rotate it and grind it till it's the right size. Don't worry about the broken lever, we'll mend that. Bit of 3-in-1, good old-fashioned 3-in-1 oil. Look at that. Right, let's get the cable on. Not on with the cable. throttle slide back in. The cutaway is always at the back. So there we have a nice rebuilt throttle. Look at that, smooth as anything. Probably better than it's ever been. So that's the carb sorted. Just a quick recap. We've got the new Ducati coil to replace the hideous Russian thing that was broken. Got a new condenser there, which is all, it's only things that's there for is to reduce sparks at the points. So I've got a new HT lead, the same old cap, the Russian spark plug. You see that you can just about see the points in there. I've given them a quick clean. The gap looks good. Not a lot of compression really, but that might be due to the cylinder head or the piston rings, who knows. We're just going to try and get it going, aren't we? So the next thing is to put some fuel in the tank. Yeah, stick the tank back on, put some fuel in it and see if it'll go. That'll be in part 3.